Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. In this video, I'm going to react to a day in the life of a US Army infantry platoon leader. Now, this should be an interesting one because I've never served in the army, but I've always been interested in what it's like to be, a member of the armed forces. What do they do on a daily basis? And this is a time of peace where there's no, to my knowledge, like wars going on. So do they train, or are they doing administrative type stuff, or what do they do to fill their time? And a platoon leader, so they have about, I think there's about 30 soldiers to a platoon. So this guy, he's a decent rank in seniority, so it should be quite fascinating to see what he does. So this should be a really fun video, so let's do it.
Alright guys, so I'm going to keep this video really raw. I'm just going to do a day in the life of an infantry platoon leader because I've realized that in a lot of my videos, I'll show you the cool stuff. I'll show you the ranges, I'll show you the field time, the cool PT sessions that we do, but I don't show you typically what I do on a daily basis. And these are some of the questions I'm getting, and I know a lot of the people that watch this channel are either guys that are in ROTC, thinking about joining the military, they're in IBOLC right now, getting ready for Ranger School, so I kind of just like walk you through the day of what I do on a typical, let's say Tuesday, June 21st here in Korea. So I'm 5 months into my
Wow, so he's stationed in Korea. Interesting.
9-month rotation here in Korea, and this is what we do. So wake up every morning. Right now it is 5 a.m. I have to be at PT this morning.
5 a.m. Oh, that's early. That's early.
At 6, and then breakfast is just overnight oats that I set up last night, and then one banana that I'll just chop up and throw in there. The key to these oats is this stuff right here. So you can find this at the commissary, which I'm surprised you can find at a commissary here in Korea. But it's a sugar-free, fat-free Jello mix, and that's breakfast. So we'll clarify this a little bit. I get this question a lot. What is PT? So it's physical training. You work out in the military, or at least in the Army, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, from 6:30 to 7:45. That's how we do it here at Camp Casey. Yesterday we did a 5-mile run. This morning we're doing like a push-up, sit-up improvement workout. Got my platoon sergeants running, and then we'll either do a mixture of like cardio, muscular endurance workouts, or ruck marches. So today just happens to be push-up, sit-up stuff.
To be honest, that sounds pretty reasonable in terms of the physical fitness requirements. You've got to be in good shape to be a member of the armed forces. You can't be huffing and puffing when you're out there on the field. Putting in that work, baby.
So we kept PT pretty light. So I plan the PT sessions, and then my NCOs execute. And the reason I eat before going into PT is because I go to the gym right afterwards before going into work. So I have to be at work at 9:30. And then this is the best time to go to the gym, especially to film videos, because literally it's like me and 2 other people.
Strong dude. He's barbell pressing what's that, about 45 kg? Not bad. So a pretty common question I get is how to balance weight training and the cardio that you're doing in the military. For one, make sure you're eating enough. That's why I track my nutrition and my macros, to maintain my weight, maintain muscle mass, and then to build as well. But what I do as a PL, since I'm planning PT, I found that most of my soldiers are going to be more inclined to go to the gym in the evenings, on the weekends, work out on their own, than they would be to do a run. There's very select few that are gonna run on their own. So I put the emphasis on our PT sessions on longer runs, track workouts, hill sprints, ruck marches, not as much on push-up, sit-up stuff. That's like maybe once, twice a week,
But if I was going to give any advice to future PLs or present PLs, put majority of your PT training on cardio, because that's typically your guys' weakest event in the APFT.
It's actually true, and it's not just about members of the armed forces, just people in general. You know, most guys I know, you know, prioritize weight training over cardio because, you know, they want to build, you know, the guns. They want to get swole, right? They're not really thinking about, you know, their heart health and stuff like that. So that's really smart stuff from this guy.
The question I think that a lot of people could benefit from is, from your perspective of being in the military for like 20 years and me being in for 3 years and being like a platoon leader for now 16 months, most of that time with you. When you first got to the unit with me, how did you feel about working for and with someone? Because as a PL platoon sergeant, we're a team, right. But at the same time, I'm essentially the one in charge. I write your evaluations. Mm-hmm. How did you feel about that, since I was the first platoon leader that you worked with? From your perspective, how did you feel about working with a new lieutenant after you have experience, and all of my experience or theory is pretty much education based? It's not from like combat experience, it's not from the experience that you have.
Well, when I first met you, I quickly noticed you had a Ranger tab. So that's one of the indicators I knew that you have a key sense of what's going on as far as troop leading procedures, as far as leading soldiers, and have practice doing movements as an infantryman.
Right.
But again, to know you, you were, I would say it, down to earth, more focused on learning, and have that attitude of always want to step up.
But before meeting me, if you never met me before, what was your first impression of when you heard you were taking over a platoon? Mm-hmm. What was your initial reaction of what a platoon leader, a brand new PL with no prior service experience, was going to be like? What did you expect?
I expected two areas. One, if he was squared away, or two, if he was one of those know-it-all type of guys. Mm-hmm. So it was a mixed emotions there, but
you can tell he's measuring his words. He's not saying exactly what he's thinking, but I imagine that's something they do in the military, because obviously you have to make sure you're addressing people who are above your rank, you know, with respect and stuff like that. At least that's what I would expect.
My approach always, especially going to a new unit, is I just sit back and observe first.
From your end, what would a new platoon leader do best to kind of set a good example? Like if you were already in a platoon as a platoon sergeant and a new PL came in, I always say like sit back and listen and observe for like a few weeks. But what would you say, like if you were already established in the platoon?
I would have said the same thing. Sit back, observe. Of course, understand the commander's intent on every piece of the task or mission that's taking place. But to really understand the platoon sergeant's view, because the platoon sergeant is always working with the soldiers individually. And so in order to meet the platoon leader's intent, he has to understand what he has at hand. Whether it's the personnels, whether the equipment that we have and stuff like that. What is all that going to take place to accomplish our next task or our next mission?
Okay, so lunch is super brotastic. Just 8 ounces of chicken breast with some ketchup, and then 12 ounces of russet potato, coconut oil, sea salt, and some spray butter on there.
Yeah, that's a, when you're trying to gain muscle, that's exactly the type of food you would expect to eat.
I don't eat any of my meals at the DFAC. I just buy all my groceries at commissary. But something I just confirmed that I kind of wanted to share is in 2 days, June 23rd, I'm going to be on the podcast Active Duty Millionaire. So the guys that run it, Keith, he reached out to me. We've been talking back and forth, but he just wants to get my perspective on running a company while being on active duty, how I kind of branded, marketed using social media, and kind of just my story behind Bear Performance Nutrition. So I see it as a really great opportunity to spread the name of the company, get some exposure, but I'm really looking forward to it. So some people get the idea that like in the military, you're always training, like every single day. you do PT, and then you go in the field and you're doing like battle drills and stuff. It's not the case. You go in like training cycles. So what we're doing right now is we're getting ready to go to the field next week and then the whole month of July. So right now, like my team leaders and squad leaders, the NCOs, they're out there training the soldiers, the riflemen, the assault gunners, and they're getting everything prepared, doing battle drills.
So, okay, so this guy's a platoon leader. So you start off as a private, don't you? Like, how many ranks above a private is a platoon leader? Like, how many years of service does this guy have under his belt?
And PCCs, PCIs, making sure all the gear works. But then like behind the scenes, PL, platoon sergeant, company leadership, we're doing like all the resourcing, the planning, making sure that when we get out there, something's gonna happen. We have a plan for that to happen. But then as you kind of trickle down the chain of command to the team leader, squad leader, soldier level, individual soldier level, they're getting all the nuts and bolts worked out. So it all comes together at the end when you go to the field and you start training. But from a platoon leader perspective, I don't do much of the individual training. My job really goes into play when we're in the field. So like back in garrison environment, I'm doing tasks that kind of help the company as a whole, but I'm not really executing platoon level tasks as much as my NCO's platoon sergeant is. I have to be in a meeting this afternoon, so I'm gonna grab a quick snack before I go. This is my room, this is what it looks like. Got like my little sleeping area here. I'm still using my sleeping bag. Couch. Got a nice closet here. My little amenities. It's actually not too bad. Bathroom, and then my little humble abode right now.
So this is based on a military base in Korea. He's not in like a hotel or anything like that, right?
So I am just going to grab a banana, a granola bar, one of these Nature Valley granola bars, and then I'm going to make a protein shake.
Well, you know where it's going. Gotta make my way over there, though.
So since I've been at PL, they play this game where they put my stuff in the freezer. At least my helmet's not in there. My stuff in the freezer. So there's one time when I first got here to the platoon, and they ended up putting my keys in my shaker bottle with water, and then froze it. So when I was time to leave for the day, I couldn't leave because my keys were frozen in my shaker bottle.
The communication flow within the front person to the last man. How you think it went?
Could have been done better, son.
Okay, how can we do better?
All right, so right now it is 6 o'clock, just got off of work. Work is that building right there. And I live in this building right here, which is super convenient. So I typically get off anywhere between 5 p.m., 6 p.m. So there's nothing quite like making rice in your bathroom. It's hot. Oh, it's hot, 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 hot. Very easy dinner. So this is just jasmine rice,
Tuna.
2 cans of tuna, some coconut oil, and sweet relish.
Man, this guy doesn't mess around. Like, this is straight like gym food to try and make some gains.
Sounds a little different, but it's really good. And then carrots, and this is like a just plain Greek yogurt. And then if you mix it with these Hidden Valley ranch dips, there's like 5 calories per serving. You just mix a little bit in there. It literally tastes like buttermilk ranch vegetable dip. So that is a day in the life of an infantry platoon leader currently on a forward deployment to Korea. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video.
Very
I will talk to you guys.
Genuinely fascinating. It's interesting to see how, as you progress up the ranks, you have less one-on-one time with the actual soldiers. Like he was saying that his main input with the soldiers is on the battlefield when it's real, when there's actual real, like the consequences are higher. When it comes to the day-to-day training, that's for the guys underneath him. I am fascinated to learn about how the ranking system progresses. Like, how do you progress up up the hierarchy from the very lowest rank, which I believe is a private, up to say, I don't know, a general or something like that. Let me know in the comment section. I really want to know. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.